What's up, my dudes? I'm just cruising on this 500, dude. So, getting a little bit of that bull action. Definitely sounds pretty hilarious in this game, but it's this bike. It actually comes on a 2013 Kawasaki 450, if I'm not mistaken, the actual dyno of it, and I didn't change that at all. I actually left it on that, and I think it's a lot better because if you're a lot more used to these newer 450s and you just leave this KX 500 on the bike on the actual dyno that it comes on, then it does actually feel like different enough to where it almost makes it feel like it's a different bike in the game. It's kind of weird to say that, and I don't know why the 500 in this game, whenever you play with the sound on, just for whatever reason, it feels like an actual 500. I don't know, even though it's really just a KX 450 2013, it just has that feeling like it's a different bike. So I think it's pretty cool, but I do think it would be a very good thing for JLV to add actual 500s in this game. I think that there's a very big balancing aspect between you have to be able to make it to where that 500 is not faster than the 450, or everybody will just want to race 500s instead of 450s. So, he's got to be real careful of doing that. And I guess it's the same way that you would compare like a 150 two-stroke in this game. Everybody would want to ride that instead of a 125. So I just don't know how you could do it in the competitive realm without sort of jacking that up a little bit, but it would still be a very cool thing to actually have into the game. And whoever put the sounds in on the 500s that are in the game, the skin of the 500, not technically a 500, whoever did that did a sick job on the actual sounds of it. I mean, they did really, really good on that part of it, I would say. But look, check this out, dude. Like old school, man. That's awesome. But they also have an actual Widowmaker CR 500 in the game, but I can't figure out how to get the download to that anymore. I don't know, like there's a lot of downloads that are just completely gone nowadays with whether it be that they were on Pure MXS or they were on like a whatever MediaFire download, and then they're gone for whatever reason. I mean, I would say there's at least half of the crap that's on like TM Factory Racing or on the forums or whatever, you can't even actually download it because the download links are gone. Like somebody needs to kind of go through there and scope through like some of the old school stuff that's a little bit more on the popular side, and that they realize that there's no more downloads for it anymore, and actually put their own download link to it out there, because they can do that fairly easily if they just have the actual the file of the whatever it is, whether it be like a track or a bike skin or gear skin or whatever, and they could go in there and actually make a new download for all that stuff. And that would be really cool if somebody would do that, that's had all of those old school downloads of stuff from way back in the day, still on their PC. And so that would just be cool to see somebody do that for the community. But yeah, man, 500s in this game, it would definitely be a great addition. I don't think it would be quite as, I don't know. I mean, a lot of people talk about adding 150s in the game, and I think that would be cool, but it's like, I mean, there's a 252 stroke, it almost gets to the point with like a 152 stroke where it's almost like you're just souping up a 125, and then it's like, well, why don't you add in 300 four strokes? They do have 350 four strokes, which is only the KTM, which kind of makes it a little bit, it's almost like they should have 150s in this game, in my opinion, since they have 350 KTMs. Not really sure why they just chose not to put in the the 150s, but I don't know. It just gets to a point where it's like there's so many bikes, but I mean, it is a simulator, It seems like if there was ever a motocross game to have every single one of the bikes, like 85s, 500s, 150s, all that kind of stuff, I feel like MX Simulator would be that game to do that. So, but I'm going to try to do some different like 500 raw lap sort of videos in the future where I just don't talk and completely ruin the audio of the bike. I know some people were kind of upset about that. Man, you got to understand, like, when you're recording videos, you're basically either having like little to no bike sounds to be able to hear the person, or you're just having bike sounds. Like, you don't really ever have a good mixture between the two. And people that don't really do YouTube wouldn't understand that, but you know, you really cannot find a good balance between like bike sound and voice over audio. It doesn't go good with a bike sound, dude, especially a two-stroke in this game. Like, I mean, it's either going to ruin your commentary, or you're not going to be able to hear the bike. Basically, that's your two options there. So for me, a lot of my, like, where you're actually hearing the bike, that's in my wide open videos. And then I'm going to go in there and actually start doing more of just a sort of like a raw lap type series, where it's not even necessarily like a wide open video. It'd just be me messing around on a whatever kind of bike, whether it be like a 500 or a 350 or whatever, on some of these different random tracks, and not necessarily going wide open, just doing some chill laps or whatever the case may be on that. So I love this track right here, though, dude. Seeing this just like really makes me miss some of these older tracks, like some of these older motocross tracks. For whatever reason, this one and then the year after this one's Utah, like, those just really stuck in my mind. I don't know why they did that, but for whatever reason, like, both of these tracks, man, the 14 Utah and the 15 Utah, they're very different from each other, but like, they're also very different from every single other AMA national track. You know, a lot of them are very, very similar every year that they come out with them. So these two were just super memorable because they don't even go to this track anymore. So yeah, it's just, they're fun tracks. You know, if you just got into MX Simulator, I recommend going back and riding on this one, and also the 15 one as well. But there's a couple places you can definitely get that 500 up in a wheelie position for sure, going wide open. So humongous jump right here. You can do a whip all the way backwards on. It's got a pretty gnarly landing, but you know, seeing this bike right here is kind of making me think, like, dude, they could even go as far as adding like vintage bikes into this game. You know what I mean? Like vintage, that's a whole nother video though. I mean, I could talk about that like all day long, but it's the truth. Like, I mean, MX Simulator just has such a like never-ending potential to it, because the actual physics of the rider and the physics of the bike and everything, all you got to do is just add more dynos to that, and you just completely extend the lifespan of the game, you know? And it's constantly getting more tracks and more people getting into it and more pro racing and more everything. You know, we need to expand the prizes, and all that kind of stuff needs to build. And then eventually it's just going to be to the point where MX Simulator is the game. You know, everybody else just, they may play that other stuff just for fun, but MX Simulator will be the game that people actually play as far as the virtual realm of a motocross, you know, type thing. And it's just going to take, I think, a little bit more time to get it to that point. And we can't give up on that dream, you know? Like, this game's amazing, dude. I mean, straight up amazing. You know, I was thinking, like, eventually it would get to the point where it felt like I had it maxed out. Like, it felt like, oh, man, I've been playing MX Simulator for a while. You know, I'm starting to see at least somewhat of an end of the skill gap. But I'm still not seeing an end to that skill gap, dude. Like, I mean, I can play this game every single day for months and months and months, and my skill just keeps getting better and better and better and better. You can always go a little bit faster. Your brain can always expand a little bit more. You can always do more than you think you can. You can always push yourself and push your mind more than you think you can in this game. And it's a crazy teacher in that sense. Like, every time you think something's impossible, or you think there's no way you could go any faster, then you just spend more time on it, and then you go faster. Like, it's just crazy how this game does that. But yeah, man, there is 500s in MX Simulator. Too bad they're not actual 500s, but I'm telling you, if you play with the audio on and you're really used to those new 450s and you leave it on the stock, I think I don't know how many Kawasaki's it's fit on for stock, but I do know the newest Kawasaki 450 that it's actually on is the KX 450 2013 one. So, you know, whoa, dude, I was flying around that. Let me back that up a little bit so I can see that again. Check this out. Oh, my God. Like, you don't even realize how fast you're going sometimes in this game. It's like you totally forget. It's crazy. But this is definitely a super high-speed style track, really fun style in that sense, because a lot of the tracks nowadays, they're so damn rough that you can't really get going that fast on them. But what I was saying is, like, the 500 on the Kawasaki really does feel different enough, and when you add that different sound in there with it, it really does trick your mind into thinking it's a 500. Like, no joke, dude. It's weird how it does that. Just having that different fender kind of makes it feel like a vintage bike, and I don't know. It's just really cool how it can do that, even though it's not even a 500 dyno at all. You just basically put it on a different dyno that you're not really used to, and I feel like that's probably the best dyno for it is the Kawasaki 2013. It can still pop a wheelie real good, but it's just a little bit different than some of those newer dynos. So now that won't necessarily be the case if they start coming out with even faster dynos, because then the Kawasaki 500 won't even feel like a 500 anymore. It'll feel like a 250 two-stroke or whatever. You know, it won't even feel like it's on that 450 speed level. So, but you could put this dyno on a newer, newer KTM dyno or whatever you want to put it on. Wouldn't be that hard at all. But I think it fits better on that Kawasaki dyno. But either way, we'll just have to wait and see if we'll get 500s in the future. I mean, I feel like JLV should get, 85 two-stroke dynos out. He should get 150 two-stroke dynos out and get 500 dynos out before he continues to do more 450 dynos, like newer year 450 dynos. I feel like it would benefit the game a little bit better at this point to get those other bikes in there, instead of focusing so much on like a 2018, all the 450 dynos and 250 dynos. I don't know about that. And then you got to be careful of not making the bikes too fast to where they don't feel realistic anymore. So that kind of creates a little bit of a problem, but we'll just have to wait and see. So either way, I appreciate you guys watching all the videos. Later, dudes.